You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Bold and the Beautiful fans, it is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I have got your B&B Hot Summer predictions. We've got 5 predictions for front burner storylines as summer heats up in LA. We have action for Brooke, for Ridge, for Hope, for Thomas, for Deacon, for Sheila, Liam, Steffy, and more. We're going to dig into all of that, but if you haven't, please click subscribe so you don't miss any of our B&B updates, spoilers, and news. All right, digging right in. Our very first prediction is that Brooke Logan is going to hit Hope Logan, not with her hand, but with an ultimatum. So do not miss the Thursday, July 13th Bold and Beautiful episodes. If you're one of those people, and I know some people do this, where they kind of don't watch during the week and they might just tune in on Friday to catch up because Bold repeats itself so much. Maybe they read recaps. Maybe you only watch an episode or 2 a week if you have time. But if you're like that and you're not an everyday watcher, make sure you do not miss Thursday, July 13th, because that is the day that Brooke's mind is totally blown. She is going to walk in on Thomas and Hope naked in bed together. She just waltzes right into Thomas's new house like she owns the place. It looks like Katie Logan's old place, and maybe that's how they're going to explain why Brooke has a key. Maybe she saw Hope's car out front and thought, oh, Thomas is doing something terrible to my daughter because he's a monster. That's just me doing Brooke's voice. All right. So, and I know a lot of fans are torn about this Thomas Hope thing, but the bottom line is it's happening, so we just need to accept it. We can talk about it, but it's happening. It is a reality. They are going to do the deed. They're going to bang that headboard for several days this week, and then Brooke is going to walk in. I am guessing that Brooke is going to maybe walk back to the living room and tell Hope, get your clothes on and get out here, young lady, which I think would be a lot of fun. No matter if she tells her to meet her there at her house or at the office, Brooke is going to lecture her. She is going to get more anger from her mom probably than even Liam already gave her. Her mom is going to list off all the litany of Thomas's past sins. He's not a changed guy. He's bad. He's evil. La, la, la. And I think she is going to give her some ultimatums like Liam did. You need to quit Forrester Creations or you need to fire Thomas. She is going to demand that Hope kick Thomas out of her life. And I don't think there's a snowball's chance in Hades that Hope is going to do any of this. She might consider it just for a minute, just to calm her mom down, but she's not going to do it. Hope's there. She's in with it. She said, I want a man who only wants me. I want you, Thomas. Now, she did ask him not to tell anybody yet. But I think that's just a matter of timing, because it's like Liam walks out, I want a divorce, and 47 and a half minutes later, she is naked in Thomas's arms in his bed. But I just think it's a short-term thing. She just kind of wants to buy some time to let the word of the divorce spreading, and then next is she's with Thomas. So it's not an all-in-one transaction, which is not a good look for her as the moral police who's the head of Hope for the Future. All right, our number 2 prediction is that Liam Spencer is not going to let Steffy Forrester go so easily. I do think once he finds out that Hope banged Thomas, I think he's going to be like, oh, well, done with that. Not going back there, because he just literally, you could see it. Scott Clifton did such a good job in the scenes when Hope touched his face at the cabin when they were in that very last scene before he walked out for good. He looked like he wanted to vomit when she touched him. He is disgusted at a cellular level that she put her mouth on Thomas's mouth and put her hands all over Thomas, holding onto his hair, clutching at him, all the things you do when you're in a passionate lip lock. And I just think Liam is just icked out. Because of that, and because of the fact that Liam Spencer cannot be alone, he has to have a woman in his life. He is incapable of being alone. So with his disgust with Hope, that only leaves one of his local ex-wives available, and that is Steffy Forrester. So I think she is going to become the sole source of his romantic attention, even though she already rejected him. He may pull some shenanigans. He may try and run off Finn. He may try and seduce Steffy. He could pull some pages out of Dollar Bill Spencer's playbook. Remember when Bill was trying to get Liam to break up with Steffy? He was doing all this stuff to convince Liam that Steffy was still sleeping with him. Liam could do the exact same thing, only from his side, since he knows how that all went down, to convince Finn. And I don't think it would take a whole lot to convince Finn that she might have strayed. And sure, Liam will get his butt kicked and probably his face punched in by Finn, but he may take an end justifies the means outlook on it and go full Spencer to rip her away from Finn, because that's who he wants now. Our third prediction is that Thomas and Hope are going to make themselves a baby. So Thomas and Hope fall into bed at breakneck speed this week. It's the same day Liam left her for good. So it is going to unroll over several episodes, but if you look at the timing and the outfits and all this, most of the week is in that same day that Liam walked out of the cabin the final time on Friday. And then she went to Thomas's, and then they're talking, and then they're kissing, and then it's like end of the day, Monday going into Tuesday when they do the deed, and then Wednesday is when Hope has this awakening, and then Thursday is when Brooke walks in on them. So they're going to be in bed for several days. If you've been waiting for them to be in bed, you're going to be thrilled. If you're disgusted by it like Liam is, you're probably not going to want to see any of this stuff go down. But she said before, after baby Beth, supposedly died, then they got her back later. But at the time, Hope told Liam to leave her and go back to Steffy, because she said she would never give him another child. She said she was too heartbroken over the stillbirth, and she ended their marriage over that grief. So she has had, even though now Beth is revealed as alive and all that, and by the way, for those thinking that Thomas kidnapped that baby, he did not. Felony Flo was working with Dr. Reese Buckingham, and they lied and stole the baby, and then Flo sold the baby, basically did a private adoption where Taylor facilitated it for Steffy, but it was Flo and Dr. Buckingham that did this. And, Flo, even though she's not on the show, she is still supposedly Wyatt's fiance. And they even gave her a job at Forrester Creations, which is total bull swoggle, because she's the one who helped steal and sold the baby. And so I just see it in the comments. People like, oh, Thomas did this. No, he didn't. He did help keep the lie going. And he's done lots of other things. I'm not saying his hands are clean. They're not. They're filthy. But he wasn't the one who stole the baby and told them it was dead. He did not do that. Felony Flo did that. All right. So maybe Hope is not being so careful about her birth control. Thomas certainly isn't thinking about. All he's thinking is, woo, Hope's getting naked with me. Let's go. He's not going to stop and rifle through his drawers for a condom. And we don't know what kind of birth control that Hope is using, but maybe she forgets about it in the wake of her divorce. I don't know. So I do predict that they could have a baby together, probably on accident, but both Thomas and his son Douglas Forrester would be thrilled. Brooke Logan, not so much. All right, our number 4 prediction is that Ridge Forrester is going to rethink the reunion. So Taylor raged at Brooke about lying about what she thinks about Thomas, lying to say that she thinks that he's changed when basically she doesn't think he is, and she hates his gut. She hates him, every fiber of his being, down to his skeleton. She probably even hates his bones. Brooke hates him. Taylor Hayes tried to get Ridge to listen to her before he went to Rome, but he didn't. And the bottom line is Brooke's mind has not changed, and it's going to get worse soon. She still hates Thomas, and Taylor never got her say, so Ridge never got the 411 that Brooke is still harboring these feelings. And when they found out that Hope and Thomas kissed in Italy, Brooke actually handled it with some aplomb, and she said, oh, Hope initiated that, da-da-da-da. So she hasn't shown this hatred to Ridge, but very soon, Ridge is going to see for himself just how much Brooke hates his son, because this divorce and finding them in bed together is going to flip her switch. She is not going to be able to control her anger and rage. I expect a full-on Brooke Logan epic nuclear tantrum. I expect that she will be screaming at Thomas that he hasn't changed, that he has tricked her daughter, that he gaslit her to get her into his bed, yada, yada, yada. And Brooke's true colors about Thomas are going to come out, and Ridge might just tap the brakes, because as far as he's concerned, Hope is a whole adult female who gets to make her own decisions because she has agency. And in fact, Thomas is not tricking her. This is for whatever reason, even if you don't understand it, even if Brooke and Liam don't understand it. Heck, even Hope doesn't really understand it. That's clear. But she wants Thomas. And so that's her decision. But Brooke is going to lose it, and Ridge might take a second look at her. She might get some side eye from the man she wants to remarry. Before we dig into this very last prediction, if you haven't, please click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our bold and beautiful spoilers, news, and more. All right, this last one is, I think Deacon Sharpe is going to kill Sheila Carter. Now, you couldn't see it because I'm just talking to you, but I put kill in air quotes. If you also watch Young and the Restless, then you know that Deacon Sharpe helped a woman fake her death over there. All right. That was Diane Jenkins back in the day. He really didn't help her fake it, but Y&R did this retcon. A retcon, if you don't know it, is a retroactive change in history to make current storylines plausible. So they made it out like this thing where he helped her fake her death and she was gone for 20 some odd years. And she's just come back over on Young the Restless, and they blamed a lot of it on Deacon conspiring with her. So apparently, this is in Deacon's wheelhouse. He has the skill set to fake someone, fake someone's death. So maybe he would do this for Sheila because it would be a lot better than her toe trickery, because that whole scam came out. Maybe Deacon could do it better. We expect that Sheila Carter is not going to die. She starts her trial, I think next week or the week after. I'm not sure if she is going to be sent to prison. I feel like that either there's going to be a fake death or an escape. If you don't remember, years and years ago, gosh, was it 2015, 16? I don't know. The years run together when Sheila Carter came back to LA, and it was a shocker. Like, it was a jaw dropper, because she was presumed dead over on Young the Restless, and then they brought her back alive on Bold. And it was, I remember the headlines, Sheila Carter's back. Holy crap. They resurrected Sheila Carter. The villain is back. So it was such a big deal to bring her back that I feel like they're not going to kill her for real, but facing life in prison, she's desperate. She said she wanted to break out, but, that's going to leave her on the run with the cops behind her. But if she dies, then that gives her an out, and she needs to do something better than one toe and a fake bear attack. So maybe she dies in jail during the trial. Maybe it's some kind of poisonous thing to make her look dead, and then Deacon can steal her from the funeral home. It's best if everyone thinks that she's dead. That way she can come back to live another day. And they could even let viewers think that she's dead, and then give us like a last minute little treat where Sheila calls Deacon to say she's sitting on a beach in Mexico. Thanks for helping me get away. Wouldn't that be fun? I don't know. A lot of people hate Sheila and would really like to see her dead, but I just feel like they're not gonna do her like that in the end.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.